pray with World Day of Prayer Scotland. Thanks to the generosity and knitting skills of our friends in Scotland, over 12,000 prayer squares have been knitted with love and prayers. This has enabled us not only to send them to each delegate to the international meeting and to the secretaries of all the national committees, but also to reach out to Ukrainian refugees. We've been able to send extra prayer squares to our World Day of Prayer sisters in Romania, Hungary, Poland, Slovakia, Ukraine, Latvia and Lithuania, who are helping in the care of refugees. It is our hope that these prayer squares may bring some comfort to refugees, knowing that we in Scotland are praying for them. May they be held in the palm of God's hand. Listen now to a story of prayer squares, part of Buckhaven and Weems Church of Scotland's Prayer Shawl Ministry.
This is a bit of a story about our Prayer Shawl Ministry, which started 14 years ago when this lady, our Deacon Jacqueline Thompson, brought it to us ladies in Buckhaven and Weems. Then one morning she made a special phone call about 18 months after we started, and the story began with a friend of hers.
My friend is called Craig and he's a padre in the RAF, and Craig and I were students together, and he was posted to Afghanistan. He was stationed at Lookers at the time, and wanting to give something tangible to Craig in his journey, I thought we must make something small. And the idea of the prayer square came along because it was small enough to fit in a pocket or a bag. But in Craig's instance, the square was put in his helmet. And it was the most powerful thing to think that here was an Air Force padre travelling to Afghanistan with a prayer square that had been made here in East Weems by a very elderly lady who's been such a blessing to us, and she has knitted hundreds of squares from that time on. And I think I'm correct in saying that some of you guild members will have one of these squares. So alongside the shawls and everything that you can see in front of us today, the ministry that began in 2008 as a ministry really for prayer shawls to reach out to people in care homes and those who were in their houses, it has now developed to be a ministry that is available to everyone of every age.
One of the things that we found was you could give someone a prayer shawl if they're having treatment for a serious illness, but they can't take it to a hospital visit with them because obviously, as you can see, this has been our dedication service today, so we have an array of shawls here. But the one thing about a little prayer square, which this one's been crocheted, that you can have in your pocket, so therefore you can have it with you and it's something tangible to feel and feel the power, because the person that crocheted this did a prayer as she made it, and it was also then dedicated by our deacon at a later date.
God in community, holy and one, open our eyes to your work in creation and knit us together as you knit us in our mother's womb. Shepherding God, open our hearts so that we may love and welcome all of your flock, just as you have taught us. Support us to tear down every false barrier we may erect. Sustaining God, share with us your gifts. Enable us to shear, card, and spin the wool produced by your flock into rainbow strands that bind us to each other and to you. May we all experience the love, compassion, and inspiration of God, as if happed up in a protective shawl, as if we were chicks gathered beneath her wings. Amen. Happed up is a Scots phrase meaning wrapped up snugly.